Hello, welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Lots of racing action coming this week. We're headed out to Santa Anita for two biggies. One of them is a Breeders' Cup Challenge race. So subscribe to the channel, click that like button, help spread the word, all that kind of good stuff. Follow me at Billy Ho Sports over on X, formerly Twitter. Let's get into race number 9. That is the Grade 1 California Crown. Significant in terms of Breeders' Cup slotting, I think, but not so much like a Breeders' Cup Challenge. Obviously, not a Breeders' Cup Challenge race itself, but we have some Bafferts and good horses in here. Number 1, New Gate, pretty quality horse for Baffert, but 6 months since the layoff is going to be a pass. So yeah, Newgate, pretty good stakes horse, but not for me in this one. Number 2, Subsanador, sharp victory in the Iceland Stakes at Monmouth. Big 104 Brisnet number. That's the ideal numbers you can get. But races like this, sometimes not repeatable. Decent outing in the Gold Cup when Sadler had him back in Santa Anita, but likely not for me. I mean, obviously, National Treasure, number 1 in prime power, number 1 in our hearts. I'm going to forgive the Whitney. I was on him, but I didn't feel super confident. Mile and an eighth is a mile and an eighth race. His distance, he can get a mile and an eighth, no problem. He did it did it at Gulfstream down here, held on by a neck. But I think that the mile and an eighth is his limit in all honesty. So it is pushing it a little bit. I think he's better at a mile or the sprint, 7 furlong, one or the other. I think if he goes back, there's no Cody's Wish this year. So I think he would just clean up in the Breeders' Cup Mile, to be honest with you. But he is still a top contender versus this group. So he's got the speed figures to get it done. Katona is an interesting one from Doug O'Neill. Showed some good speed at Del Mar, but not the late kind of speed that I think could get it done here. Muth is gonna be the big one, eligible to improve, second off the layoff for Bob Baffert. He puts him in here after the soft landing spot at the Shared Belief, going a mile. Now extends him out to a mile and an eighth. We're going to see what he's got in this one, because he's going to have to go up against a couple of good ones, and a front runner and a closer. And so this is his stiffest test yet. So this is going to prove, I think, if he's a legit Breeders' Cup Classic contender or not. I don't think he has to win, but I think he needs to be there down the stretch, first or second in every race. So I don't think he'll have a problem achieving that goal. Now on to Senor Buscador, Mr. Seeker. Pat O'Brien was not really his race, 7 furlongs. I thought it was a good off the break race. He was lagged way behind, but then he made one giant run down the stretch. But my problem is the jockey. I just don't trust Talamo to get it done. He's really not a high percentage jockey, and the graded stakes aren't there for Fincher. So I wish they would have got a better pilot for this horse, like Junior Alvarado, but he's riding another one. But that's just the price we have to pay on that one. And indispensable, I don't really think a whole lot of here. John Sadler, Hector Barrios does have some speed, but it's just a little bit. Second in the Shared Belief was a good step up for him, but I think that he's not going to be into this race as well. But just to speed things along, anyone other than National Treasure, Senor Buscador, or Muth wins this race, I'll be disappointed and a little surprised. I would be looking for value on the 6 horse, but I don't know if Talamo is going to be the guy. I do like that he rode him. At least he rode him and maybe learned something from the last race. So if he can come back out, but it's probably coming down to whoever Bob Baffert wants to win this race between Muth, if he's good enough. If Muth is good enough and Hernandez, I almost feel like that National Treasure would give way. Not that they would throw the race, because Father and Pratt is always out to win, and him up in National Treasure makes him the favorite in my book. Those three horses in a trifecta box, and we're going to move on to the next race, which is number 10, the 1 mile turf City of Hope, grade 2, 3 years and up. It's obvious Johans, I believe that is. Anyway, Johans, much the best. De Jour is a competitor, I think, for Baffert, but I don't think that it's going to be there. No, thanks to the 2 horse. So basically, just tons of success at Santa Anita on the turf. It already gives him horse for course. Then he's the best horse. I mean, Easter's one of the main contenders, I think, but Easter's no match. 5th and 6th, respectively, in the last 2 that Johans won. So not much of a factor in that one. Also lost to De Jour 3 back. So did win in a mile here for Bob Baffert, which is De Jour. Trickery is the one that's going to be the most interesting to me, because this one just seems to just keep getting it done. Just missed by really, really close in the 3-way on the Penn Mile is the only loss. It's since it's hit the stakes trail that he's had. So bounced back with back-to-back grade 1, grade 2 Secretariat wins. Win at Aqueduct right here above that. So traveling out west, I suppose, for the first time. But this horse wins anywhere. 5 different tracks he's won, from Aqueduct to Colonial to Gulfstream to Churchill. Then I like Almendares. I believe that is Offer as Pratt jumps on right here for Philip D'Amato. I think, and De Jour can save a little ground inside. But I do think that the best horse is clearly Johannes, and that is the best horse. But I will be rooting for Trickery. I backed Trickery a couple of times, especially at Churchill Downs earlier this year in the American Turf. And then I backed him again in the Belmont Derby, which he got up at 5-1 plus odds, got up by a head to win that race. So I will be rooting for Trickery. And if the odds are there, maybe bet to win place type bet. But the exacta would be just a 2-horse box with Trickery and Johans. So that will do it for that. So there is your preview for the 2 big races out at Santa Anita Park. Those are the only 2 I'll cover out west this week, but we will be hitting Aqueduct for Belmont at the Big A for some, maybe even Churchill Downs. I do have a top 10 Breeders' Cup Classic contender list coming out very soon, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, you're smashing that like button, leave me a comment, and till next time, we'll see